Hello everybody, it's Josie here. I'm going to be doing my TBR today. So this TBR is for the Reading Rush readathon. So it was formerly called the Booktubeathon, but it's now rebranded as the Reading Rush. And what's really cool this year is that they've kind of got a website and you can earn badges and you can register on the website and you can kind of follow your progress and friend people, and it's like really interactive this year. So I think it's going to be a really fun readathon to take part in. So I thought I would make a TBR for it. Also, it runs from the 22nd to the 28th of July, which is the end of the month. And this year there are 6 official challenges, and then, there are 7 challenges, and then there's a kind of a non-official challenge, which is to read 7 books. And I really wanted to read 7 books, so so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I can do it. I've picked a couple of shorter ones and an audiobook, so I'm hoping I can get to all 7. But anyway, so let me go through the challenges and what I'm going to read for them. So the first one is to read a book with purple on the cover, and this is where I'm going to read an audiobook. So I'm going to hold this up. So it's this one over here. It's, oh God, the lights on there. The Lady's Guide to Piracy and Petticoats, or Petticoats and Piracy. I said that the wrong way around. So this is by Mackenzie Lee. This is the follow-up to Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. Which I really enjoyed, and I had the physical book, but I read it on audiobook as well. Well, I listened to it on audiobook, and I really enjoyed that. So I have been on the waiting list, and luckily it's going to be here on time for this one from my library, so I can listen to this one on audiobook. And it's a very, very purple cover, and I'm really looking forward to finding out what happens to Felicity Montague in this one. Then the next challenge is to read a book in the same spot the entire time. And I picked this one over here, A Portable Shelter by Christy Logan. Christy Logan, I read The Gloaming earlier this year, and it's just become one of my all-time favourite books, and I now have to read every book Christy's ever written. I keep calling her Christy, I don't know why. Christy's ever written. And this one just sounds beautiful. So you've got 2 women, and one of them's pregnant and they're about to be parents. And each one of them is telling fairy tales and stories to the unborn child. And they kind of agree that they weren't going to do that, tell the child stories, but each one of them is telling stories to the child. It just sounds like it's going to be beautiful, lyrical, possibly some magical realism in it, like The Gloaming was. If the writing is anything like that, I'm going to be a very, very happy girl. And also this one is nice and short, so I figured it was a great book for a readathon. And the next challenge is to read a book that you meant to get to last year. And for that, I have picked, not the smallest book, because maybe it wasn't the best idea, but The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. I have heard nothing but incredible things about this book. And it's basically a book written in verse, in rhyme, and it's about a slam poet. It is supposed to be beautiful. It is supposed to be an amazing, amazing book. Like I said, nothing but good reviews. Everybody that's read this has recommended this book. And yeah, it's one that I definitely meant to get to last year. I don't know why I didn't. So this is the perfect opportunity to read it. Then the next one is to read a book that was a author's first novel. And then what I've also done, so for this challenge and the challenge to read a book and then watch the movie adaptation, I've got the same book. So it's this one over here, Disobedience by Naomi Alderman. This is going to be a reread for me. So I read this book a while ago, really enjoyed it. I actually read it after I read The Power, which was shortlisted for various prizes and quite a popular book, and really kind of brought Naomi Alderman to my attention. And then I read this one, and I really loved it. This is about 2 women, and they're both Jewish, so it gives you, there's a lot of, you kind of get immersed in the Jewish faith, which I really liked. One of the women, and when they were teenagers together, they fell in love, essentially, and then one of the women moved away to New York, and she's kind of been out of the community for a long time, and her father dies, who was the rabbi. And she comes back to her community, and she comes back to this woman who is now actually married to her cousin, I believe, who's going to be the new rabbi. And it kind of talks about their past. It talks about this love story between the 2 of them, about what you want in life versus what you think you should do, you know, the expectation of family, religion, community, behaving in a way that you're expected to, doing something either for yourself or for other people. It's a very powerful, beautiful book. Obviously, sapphic ladies in it, which I love. And then also, there was a film adaptation with Rachel Weisz. which I haven't seen, but I actually have the DVD for. So I'm going to reread this and then watch the movie adaptation. And I'm really excited to get to that because I've been meaning to get to the movie adaptation as well. So again, perfect opportunity to do that. Then the next challenge is to read a book with a non-human main character. And for that, I've kind of picked two because I want to do 7 books because I doubled up on Disobedience. So the first one I've got here is this one, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Well, no, just Sabrina and its Season of the Witch. So this is a prequel to the Netflix series. So at first I kind of thought use this as an adaptation, but it's not really a movie adaptation. So I'm just going to use this one as a non-human character. So the reason I say non-human is because Sabrina is half human and half witch. So I'm kind of counting that as not entirely human. But then also, for the non-human, I've got this over here. This is Camilla by Sheridan Le Fanu. And this is kind of essentially the first lesbian vampire novel. It's incredibly short. I think it's like 60 pages long. So again, really good for a readathon. And non-human, Camilla is a vampire. So that works. And then the last challenge I've got here is to read a book that's got 5 or more words in the title. Weirdly, quite difficult to find. A lot of the books I own are shorter, have shorter titles than that, but I found one that's a really nice long title. So Paul Takes the Form of a Mortal Girl by Andrea Laula? I'm saying that right. This book intrigued me, so I kind of, this wasn't on my radar. I saw it on the shelf. I really like the cover. I think it has kind of a cool cover. The title sounded intriguing, but I never really paid it that much attention. And then I read in a review and they were talking about it and they were kind of billing it as a modern day Orlando. And it's kind of this gender bending, so it's really hard to describe. So you've got a character, so it's 1993, first of all, the early 90s, which I really, really love. And then you've got this character of Paul who tends bar in a gay club in a university town. And he studies queer theory, he's got a dyke best friend. I mean, these are all things that are sort of tick, tick, tick for me. And he's also got a secret. He's a shapeshifter. So this book, I think, also works as a non-human main character. And it says, like, he oscillates between, like, the riot girl movement and he becomes different, he transforms into different people. And it just sounds like Orlando, but on steroids. So, you know, kind of switching from male to female, becoming different people, being a shapeshifter, early 90s, the riot girl scene. I mean, this sounds like the perfect book. So I'm desperate to read it. So I'm really glad that the readathon is giving me an opportunity to read it. So yeah, so those are all my books. I'd love to know what you guys are reading. Let me know if you've read any of those and what you thought of them. And if you're taking part in the Reading Rush, happy Reading Rush, have fun. And I will try and be doing some kind of, maybe not daily, but I'll try to do some kind of reading vlogs as I go along with those books. Just little short ones telling you what I'm thinking of them. And yeah, I will speak to you all again very soon. Have a good day. Bye-bye.